because if I had to guess with me and my brother, I would say that we were the dads. My brother has 10 children, so his could be Ben plus 10, and so that worked. And then with me, it was like I gained all this weight after my daughter passed away. So they're going, and I'm a pretty emotional guy, and I think that's part of why I got picked. We were the dad team, and so, but who knows? The production team that did our season is no longer around with them. It was a one and done. If you are a fan of the show and have watched it and you thought the season was different and you thought it was because of the cast, I would again say there was a different production company. The people that produced this season, the only other shows they produced were on MTV. And so they intentionally brought drama. You might think people didn't like each other, but I gotta tell you, we're all friends. We all hang out all the time. I gotta tell you, you watch a show and you hate Conda, it's because of the production team. It's a social game where we vote people off, and she made it till the end. And I think she's a very sweet girl. Most of what you would see with her fighting and being nasty with people is because someone attacked her brother off camera. And she's just a loyal, loyal friend.
Was that drama when you, somehow Allison brought people back on, they were spotted off, and you didn't want them to come back on, and you left the show? Why did you leave the show? Because they came back on. Why didn't you stay there and stick it out?
Well,
Like I said, was that drama, or was that acting, or was that
no, I mean,
true fact?
both.
Because, it seemed like you'd stay there, no matter what, whoever they brought back, you think you'd stay there still to work out, getting the weight off of yourself, for you.
Well, so I did leave, so that's a
Yeah.
fact.
Somebody else left too.
Mark, yep, so fact. And, at that point, what you're saying about weight is legitimate. I had already lost 143 pounds. If I had lost 20 and it was week 2, probably a different story, honestly. But they were intentionally causing drama. We sat down at a meeting civilly off camera, and I said, what you're doing is wrong. And they said, we know. What are you going to do? We know if you leave, America's going to hate you. So we've got you. What are you going to do? So what do? Do you do what you don't believe in because someone's got you? Or do you say, well, okay, I'll take this,
Integrity, I don't know, I think I would have stayed,
Some did. There were 5 of us that wanted to go, and 3 stayed, and I totally respect them. It wasn't me.
Do you have follow-up? Even?
No. Oh, you're on your own. I kind of knew that even while we're there. You think that they do everything for you, but then how come people lose different weight every week? The amount that you work out on camera is 5 hours a week. Right? You do 2 workouts. You do a first workout with Ovet and a last chance workout. And so really you're doing a lot of it on your own. So,
That's
yep.
How'd your brother do? How'd your brother do?
I'll get you in a second. What did you say?
I was just wondering, how much did you weigh before you went home? And how much did you weigh when you left?
It depends on what you mean by when I went on, because I was heavier and started losing weight. When we first tried out in July, I was probably 420 and had started losing weight. And then when we first did the first weigh-in on the show, I weighed 403. And then that was October 10th of last year. And then I was the heaviest person on the show this season. They actually downsized, because typically that's not the heaviest person. Typically I would have been about 5th or 6th heaviest guy. And I was the heaviest. They would make me answer an interview. Hey, you're the heaviest guy on this show. How does that make you feel? Oh, it makes me feel like punching you. I'm the heaviest guy on a fat show. What do you think I feel like, So anyway, I weighed, at finale May 1st, I weighed 230. So I haven't weighed in recent. Yeah, thank you. And that's really, for me, I'm going to talk about it tonight, but for me, the deal was health and life change. It wasn't a show. It wasn't about winning the show, clearly. Like my actions followed my beliefs, and I was about my family here, and being a dad, and being a husband, and I'm still that. So that's kind of where I was at. I told them up front how I was, And I told him I'm 90% about my life and 10% game. If you ever make the game more than it is, I'll walk. You wanna know why? My friends were on season 9 and they gained all their weight back. And if you win the $250,000 and gain the weight back, I say you are the loser. It's not about winning the show. It's about getting your health back. You know, and so that's kind of, anything that messes with your head, Dolet came to me one time and he says, buddy, Wayne's going to be really close this week, right? I'm the big guy. They always needed me to drop day weight. So he's like, I want you to get up at 3 in the morning, throw on extra hoodies, suck out some water weight, and drop this extra weight. And I just looked at him and said, no, you're dumb. I'm not doing that. That is absolutely ridiculous and not good for my health. I would rather lose this week's weigh-in and get voted off if my team thought I was selling out than do what you're telling me to do. And I didn't do it. I don't compromise.
I just like those bungee jumping, when they went on top of that one building, and that one gal, was it, Bob was scared to jump off.
Yep,
He did
he's
it.
got a
She
fear of
ran.
heights.
But the one gal, she didn't want to do what they set her in a chair, and they backed her off and dropped. I says, what if you didn't want to do that? You just walk right back down?
I would.
I would.
You stick by your guns. They're not following me. And if you think that America cares and really, really?
Well, you're chicken, yeah.
No, you're responsible for you, and you do what you got to do, and you're responsible for your life. That's kind of the deal, and that's my deal for me. You asked about my brother. My brother did wonderful. He actually went home the first week.
I know, I saw the show.
Yeah. So he, that's the hardest case scenario because you're probably going to want to know this, but they're like, how can you leave and not get paid? So the show pays you $100 a day while you're there, right? That's how you replace your income. The people that go there get $100. The day you leave, you get $0. So my brother went home after, by the way, a week's not a week. Just because you watch it every Tuesday doesn't mean it was 7 days for us, right? It's filmed ahead of time. So the first week was about 10 days, and then my brother went home, and so he got no money. He had to go back to work. He worked 10, 12 hours a day. He has 10 children, 10. And he lost 139 pounds. So it's like his story is completely a different motivational story than mine, and like his story is like, don't tell me it's not possible at home. It is. His is worst case scenario. The amount he had to work and with the kids and stuff, so it's doable. You just gotta get it right. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Thank you very much for coming to the library tonight. We really thank Buddy for coming. A lot of you that were here early got a lot of questions in already. You probably feel like you know him. But he has a presentation here for all of us, and there I think will be a little bit of time left for questions and answers after. So enjoy the program, and thank you for coming.
Okay. Yeah, I'll kind of try to do a presentation, and in it I'll try to answer any questions that I've been doing this for a couple months now, and there's some standard things probably you want to know. So I'll try to go through those. When I'm done talking, though, I'll open it up again, question and answer. I came here to share my story and to really help you. One of the first things I did when I came back off the show, I was driving around and I said, one of the things I want to do is just help my community. So I called my wife and I said, I didn't know anything about anything. I said, hey, where's the mayor's office? She's like, what? I said, where is the mayor? And she's like, she tells me where, and I said, I think I'm going to go there. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. So I just went into the mayor's office and I just said, hey, mayor, and they didn't recognize me. I don't know if, at the time, this was like TV time hadn't caught up to real time. And as much as you've been watching Superman your whole life and think Clark Kent's a dumb costume, it actually works. If I put my glasses on, I'm recognized everywhere. And if I take them off, it's like, oh, hi, I went to the Biggest Loser tryout and they didn't know who I was. Oh, it's the glasses. I mean, the weight is something and the goatee is something, but it's more the glasses. So I went to the mayor and I said, hey, I'd like to help. Is there a way I can integrate into the city and help people here? So this is part of that. This is part of me coming and saying, I'll share my story if it'll help you, just kind of a volunteer service to you tonight. So anyway, my name is Buddy Shuh, but just so you know, if you're trying to look me up and if you want to follow me, and I'm going to do some health things here in the fall, the best way to do that's on Facebook. So you need to know that my real name is not Buddy, that's my nickname. My real name is Alan Shuh. And the story behind that, people usually enjoy, so I will tell it to you. I know some of you know me, and bear with it for the people that don't. Parents were gonna like the name James and Alan at birth. And so they were saying, okay, my dad's name's Alan, and they said, okay, we don't want two Allens, so we're gonna name him James Alan Shuh. They liked that, except for there's a problem in that there's a nickname for James, and it's Jim, and they were about to name their son Jim Shuh. I think my dad still wants me named that, just to see, because that's what dads do, but mom won the argument. So they said, okay, what we'll do is we'll name him Alan James, and they gave it a nickname Buddy. Grandpa Shuh had a name Bud. And so that's where the name Buddy came from, and people just like that. So my little presentation here, you want to know, that's what I looked like October 10th. So slight difference. Again, the weight, it depends on when you want to talk. I was heavier than this at one point, and it started to slim down. That's October 10th. That's 403 pounds. That's a 5 extra large shirt around my waist, not my pant size, because we had the overlap thing happening, but around the fattest part of the gut, we were probably looking at about a 64 inch, okay? So anyway, now, at the finale, I weighed in at 230 pounds, so I lost on the show in 5 months about 173 pounds. And my shirt, like I wear XL, sometimes I wear a large now, and my waist is 38. So I lost over 2 feet off my waist. So it was about a pound a day for half a year is basically what it works out to be. So it's a crazy experience and how it starts. But I thought what I would do is take you through some of the process and really try to engage you and say, if there's a positive change you want to make in your life, how you would do that as far as I don't care what it is, because I know being from Michigan that we've been hit and it seems like every way. Personally, I've been hit financially. 6 years ago, it seemed like everything in my life just kind of blew up. My job, I was a teacher at a school that wound up closing, but before that happened, I was cut to I was only getting a check every 3 weeks. And then that was part of a church, and the church closed. So financial, around the same time, we're going to be talking a little bit more in depth with this book signing that I'll do, but we had a daughter that was born with serious complications. At that same moment in time, she lived 5.5 months and passed away. So I know what it is to go through emotional stuff, and then in the aftermath of that, started to put on a lot of weight. It was really after my daughter passed and all these things were happening that I gained about 100 pounds. And I found that through my story, when that sort of came out, that there are thousands of people nationwide that seem to have gone through an emotional trauma that seem to turn to food. And so I'm doing whatever I can to help those people because I've gotten help. And so I believe in the whole pay it forward. Take the things that have blessed you and bless others with them. And so the first thing that I wanted to talk about, if you're going to dare to dream big and to go for your dreams, is to follow your heart. And what I mean by that is if the tough times have come, I just want to encourage you to not quit. A year ago, in July, I sat there and was about 420 pounds. And I want to say that it wasn't like I was unaware. I was trying to lose weight and feel like I had tried every diet in the book. Lose a little, gain a little, lose a little, gain a little. And here's the thing. It just never went away. So when I say follow your heart, I'm wondering, for you, if there's things in your life that you've had that just don't seem to go away. Whether it be your health, whether it be, something you want to do. Maybe you've always had it in you to run for office, or maybe you've always wanted to write a book, or you wanted to own your own business, or whatever it is, and it's just still sitting there on the shelf. And I just want to encourage you to not quit on that. If it's there and it's been there forever, I don't want you to get because I know what it was like to try and feel like I might as well not even try anymore because I've tried it all and I've completely succeeded at being a failure. And I think I've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt I can't lose the weight. And I just want to say that it's still just not true. It wouldn't go away. I still kept trying until I found the right answer. And so follow your heart. I want to ask you, like, are there things in your heart that they've been there on the shelf forever? And I just want to encourage you to not quit on them and to go for it. Follow, take motion, keep moving towards it, and don't quit on your dreams. Go for it. I'm standing here because I still do this. I still fail all the time. But I'm going to talk about 2 ways that I've kind of just done these things. One is weight loss. I did it. I know it's possible. I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting on anyone who has quit before. I work out with 4 different guys a week now, trying to help them and to get what it is that I got. So I want to encourage you to keep going. You know, you might not even know where to start. That's kind of where I was at. And so, you know, first of all, how do you get on a show? That's probably something everyone asks me. How did you get on Biggest Loser? Last July, I was sitting at home, Friday night, so big, it's actually hard to get off the couch. Literally. I mean, knees hurt, lower back pains. I have diabetes, I'm pre-diabetic. I have 3 kinds of blood pressure medicine. My blood pressure was 190 over 110. Sleep apnea I had for 7 years. I used a CPAP machine. Everything is difficult. Friday night, but I've realized that I need to lose weight. And for me, I'm thinking about my children. And I've started to try to lose weight. And I'm feeling, though, like I still don't have it. You know, I got a little bit of momentum, and my brother calls me, Ben. Ben was on the show with me. He calls me up Friday night. Hey, bud, I was online just surfing the web. Turns out Biggest Loser has a casting call open at Gardner White Furniture tomorrow in Troy. Do you want to go? I'm like, well, clearly we're not going to make the show, but I haven't seen my brother in 2 months, so yeah, you know what? I'll go meet you. So I went the very next day. We went to Gardner White. I say it's the first challenge of Biggest Loser, standing by comfy furniture for 6 hours and not being able to sit on it. It's like 99 degrees that day, so you want to know the process. Interestingly enough, for anyone who watched the show, but if you followed it at all, let me see. Okay, so you followed it. Show up at the same exact moment in time at Gardner White as Jeremy and Conda. They stand directly behind us in line, and we start forming a relationship months before the season even started. We became friends. I'm sitting there talking to them. We stand in line 6 or 7 hours that day, sweating our fat butts off in the sun. And Conda actually looks at me and says, buddy, how crazy would it be if all of us made the show? Well, I'm a math major, so I look at her and I go, that is a statistical impossibility. I'm thinking about all the people that are trying out. I go, at most they're going to take 1 couple from this tryout. And Jeremy's like, well, it's not going to be you because clearly we're better looking. So anyway, you can imagine my surprise when I get to California and I see this kid. I'm like, oh man, Cocky Boy's here? Are you kidding me? I can't believe they picked him. So anyway, you stand in line for 6 or 7 hours, and then at the end of the day, you have 8 of you sit at a table. 8 of you, and there's an 8-minute interview. So you have about a minute apiece to answer questions. So my guess is they're looking at you, trying to look what you look like, skinny. They like the whole transformation deal. Clearly, if you follow the beginning of the show, they try to make you look extra bad. And at the end, they try to make you look extra good, right? So at the end, I mean, like, really? Why are you taking your shirt off when you're extra fat? And then you lose weight, put your shirt on. That's just mean. Only skinny people came up with this show, I'm telling you for sure. So anyway, 6 or 7 hours. The next day, they called us. They said, hey, we'd like for you to come and do an interview. So we said, okay. We went the next Wednesday. Me and Ben went, and it was an hour in a hotel room, and it was the NBC people, big fancy camera, and we just kind of sat there and told our story, kind of did funny stuff, did serious stuff, why'd you gain weight, told the story of my daughter, and so anyway, went from there. That was July. August, they called us back and they said NBC executives really like what they're seeing. Would you be interested in coming out to California? And I'm like, really? I cannot believe we're this far in the process. This is absolutely remarkable. I just really couldn't believe it. And I'm going, I have 3 small children and my wife is pregnant. Like, I don't know about this. So I had to talk to my wife. I had to talk to my job. I'm going, how is this going to work? Everything pans out. I mean, everything just miraculously works out. So I'm going, okay, so we'll go. So we don't know it at the time, but they fly out 50 people, of which they're going to keep 20. Now, they don't tell you at the time, like when they threaten you, when you're getting these emails, you're going, when you get off that plane, there is no talking to the other contestants. You're going to be riding home in the van, you may not speak to them. So it's just a strange thing. You don't know how many people there are. You know when they're your competitors because there's two super huge people together. You go, I get it. You're trying out, but you can't talk to them. And so anyway, you're going through this process. They flew us out, and you're sequestered in a hotel room for about 10 to 14 days. I can't even really remember. So you don't have a key to your hotel room. You just sit there. I call this the fattening up stage. Right? You don't move for like 2 weeks. It's like me and my brother, we took you to a grocery store. We ate Chef Boyardee ravioli out of the can and peanut butter M&Ms for 2 weeks prior to getting on The Biggest Loser. Oh, that first workout just still haunts me. So anyway, with 2 weeks, they would come at random and they'd say, come on, let's go. Do an interview. We did a psychological test. We did physical tests, all this stuff. We don't know, but anyway, they're whittling us down to finally the 20. Another cruel joke, I thought they were casting for another show at the same moment in time. And so when you got off the elevator, if you turned left and went down this hallway, there's all these people. They're all trying out for Biggest Loser. And if you turned right and went down that hallway, there's all these people trying out for America's Next Top Model. Really? Really? It was very clear which one you're trying out for. There's like 4 of us packing in one elevator. There's like 19 of them. I get it, We're afraid of the weight limit. Oh, geez, I don't know. There's 4 of us. Anyway, so that happened at the end of 2 weeks. They were in this room. We don't even know yet, and they're like, "Hey, congratulations, you've been picked, and you have 3 hours. Call your family and say goodbye. You don't know when you'll talk to them again." So they take your phone, your computer. All access to the outside world is gone. You live on the ranch, and it's a fenced-in perimeter, and there are no phones, there are no TVs, there are no computers. So this is why when you see, like, when we win a letter from home, we're like, and you're like, how did that all cry? Well, you tried. Yeah, but no, I mean, you're doing the hardest thing in your life, and you can't talk to any of your friends, any of your family, and then, so it's kind of this strange experience. So that's kind of, how I started following my heart. I just said, I'm giving myself to this process, and I'm going to, follow this as far as it goes. And then the other thing I'm going to talk about, because we're doing a book signing tonight, is I did write a book as well, and this is part of a kind of a dream I had. When my daughter passed away, I really went through the ringer when she was in the hospital. She never came home. She was at Children's Hospital for 5 months. And I tried to read stuff. I tried to read regular stuff. I tried to read Christian stuff, anything that would help, and I just really didn't find much. And so afterwards, I kind of said, okay, I'd like to write a book about what happened. Just tell the story of my daughter. Just write it. But I don't know if you've ever had this thought, but how do you write a book? I mean, sure, you put it in print, but how do you get a book out there? So anyway, I started the process by just kind of telling some friends, hey, I think I want to write a story about if it would help someone else's life. I go down to Ronald McDonald House still a couple times a year, and I serve meals to the people down there because I get what they're feeling. And I wanted to write this book in case I could help anybody who's ever lost a child. And so anyway, I went to this auction that the school was having, and somebody came up to me out of the blue and says, hey, I just really feel I have it in my heart to give you $100 so you can bid on something at this auction tonight. And I go, oh, cool, thanks. And then the auctioning started, and somebody gets up there and says, hey, I'm a publisher of books, and I'm auctioning off the right to publish your own book. And she actually said, do you have it in your heart to write the memoirs of someone you've lost? And I'm like, wow, it's getting really eerie. She's like, let's start the bidding tonight at $100. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I raised my hand and no one else bid. So anyway, I won the rights to publish a book, and that's the book that I have here tonight. So it was a dream I had, and again, it's really just to help people. So if you know someone that's lost a child or something, I'm also willing to talk to people. When my story came out on the show, it was probably that night I got 200 emails from across the country. I'm like, how do these people find me? There's a lot of creepy, stalky people out here. 200 people found me that night saying, I've lost a child. Can you tell me what can help with this hurt and pain? And so anyway, it's follow your heart. Don't give up on the dream. The second thing that's helpful about the show is accountability. So what do I mean by this? It's group thinking. It's the thinking of, you know, that if it's bigger than just you, then you're more likely to stick with it. You know those things, it's better, you know why writing down your goals helps? Because if you don't say it out loud, and if you don't tell anyone, if you don't write it down, then you could just mentally later go, I'll start that tomorrow, or But you know what? You know what helps? Take your shirt off in front of America. That helps. That helps motivate you. I mean, the accountability factor is off the scale here because, I mean, seriously, for overweight people, the most embarrassing thing you can do is take your shirt off. Like when you go to the pool, even with your friends, you don't take your shirt off. No way. That's embarrassing. Actually, it was funny. Like first week, we were at the ranch and we all were swimming around the little pool there. Chisholm, I don't know if you know him, but he's a 19-year-old kid. He's like, I feel so free. Everybody's fat. No one's judging each other. We're all just swimming with our shirts off. And he was just so happy. It was just a fun moment. But, you know, for an overweight person, that's like serious vulnerability. And for the show, it's like you need to start there. Your worst, deepest, darkest fear. And for me, I'm going, man, all my high school friends, they haven't seen me in 20 years. I was a captain of football and wrestling. There you go. This is what happened. I'll tell you what, it's a motivating factor to stay accountable. When you know in 7 days that you got to weigh in again and America's watching, and let me tell you, people are not very nice in general. They're not cutting you slack. They're not going, oh, I get it. I tried it at home and I lost. I took a day off. They're like, you're on the show and you only lost 6 pounds. I hate you. And they're just like, you know, there's ultimate accountability. By the way, I mean, I think it's a wonderful thing. I'm still accountable. Like everywhere I go in the restaurants, people are like, let's see, in the grocery store, people still watching what Buddy's eating. And it's a good thing, you know? It's like I want to be accountable. I want to be able to explain my actions. So I want to say that, you know, if you're going to follow your dream, it really should be a little bit bigger than you. If you've been trying to do something for a long time, if you've been wanting to do this thing and it's not getting off the ground, I want to say that it's probably best if you get more people involved. You get a small group of friends that you really trust with your heart and with your dream, and you have them help you. It's going to be a little bit bigger. For me, the picture here is of Mark Cornelison. We really became best friends on the show. It's hard to describe to people what it's like to go for 5 months from your home and not be able to talk to anyone you know. I missed the birth of my son. I came down on a Sunday morning. We had a planned C-section on a Friday. And a Sunday morning I came down and they gave me a phone. I go, phone? What is this? And they're like, you got to call your brother. And I'm like, what? Was he in an accident? And I'm like, is my wife in labor? And she was. So too late to get home from California. I missed it by about 12 hours. I came home. I was home 4 days and then back. Still had to weigh in that week and lost 10 pounds that week. So my wife beat me. She lost like 25. Kudos to Shelby. Great job. But anyway, accountability. The first week on the show, my brother did the right thing for him and his family, and he wound up asking, and he got voted off, and he went home. That being said, it was a little bit hard on me initially. But anyway, NBC, on the ranch, there was only one room that shared rooms where you shared with somebody that you didn't come with. And in that room were Mark and Chisholm, and they actually moved me and my brother into that room. And so I went in there the first day, and Mark and I became incredible friends. And so the accountability thing, we just learned to do everything together, and we learned to care. And we prayed with each other, we walked with each other. Jeremy, and I, the last 6 weeks we were on the show, probably literally walked 500 miles together. We just became really good friends. And it was like, hey, you know, we could talk to each other, and we knew how we were feeling, and we said, you need to keep going. Let's go. You need to watch what you're eating. Let's go. And it was a big help in my life. We're incredible friends still. We went through so many tennis shoes. Like you went through a pair of tennis shoes every 2 weeks, right? They're only good for like 300 miles. So you know, every other week you're getting a new pair. Asics is our sponsor. I'm used to now. This is kind of weird, but wearing right and left designated socks. When you're doing that much walking and stuff, the cut matters. And so there's a little R and a little L to help us that are slow in figuring that out. So Anyway, accountability, Mark and I are great friends. He's come out to Wayne, he's preached at our church. I flew out to Houston, I spoke at his church. Next year we're going to Dominican Republic together to help build a schoolroom for, down there you pay for school until you get to college. And so if you're poor to begin with, you stay poor. So we're going down there to help build a school for their friends for life. We still talk all the time, we Skype, and we say, how you doing? Are you going to the gym? Are you whatever? So part of following the dream is just being accountable. It's got to be bigger than you. It's like really, you're meant to interact with people. And also part of your dream, I want to throw this out there, like me going on the show, it's not about becoming famous, and it's not about, there's a lot of good things that come with it, but I want to throw this out there. Let your dream be something that's going to help and influence other people as well. Let it be more than just about you. Like that's what I'm doing here tonight. As I said, when I came back, I said, okay, I'm really going to try to help my city. I'm going to try to help people. I have lots of people reaching out. And so, accountability. You matter more when you're impacting other people. So let what you do, be thinking, okay, I need to do this for me, and I also need to think, I'd love it if every one of you one day were up here standing on this side saying, I did that dream, and I'm here to help somebody else so that they can fulfill their dreams. You'll find that you're much more fulfilled and rewarded by helping others as well. So follow your dreams, accountability. The last thing I thought that was a key in helping you to follow your dreams is resilience. I just want to say, sorry, I was wondering I was getting hot. I thought I was done sweating. Breathe, bold. Resilience. I want to say that if you're going to do anything worthwhile, if you're going to go for your dreams, it's going to cost you something. So everyone, you think, okay, so you did it because you went on Biggest Loser. Well, I got a lot of people that have been on Biggest Loser that they're not there. And I just want to say that it does cost. It was the hardest thing that I've ever done, being on that show. 5 months being gone. The first day of working out for 6 or 8 hours, that's pretty hard. Second day is even worse because you can't move and it's hard to go down the stairs and they still want you to do 6 or 8 hours. And there was no days off. For 5 months I did not have a day off. Our days off was the weigh-in day, and that was a 16-hour work day. We didn't work out that day, but for 150 days there was no day off. For the first 2 weeks my body was in acidosis. The smell of food made me want to throw up. And for 5 months I thought I've worked out before. I played football, I wrestled. I'm thinking 3, 4, let's go 10 days sore. I'm thinking your body's got to cover. No, 5 months. Never a day where you just weren't like, and then they make you do these ridiculous challenges where you have to tunnel in sand underneath logs. Again, skinny people did not come up with this stuff, people, I am telling you. Resilience. You need to know why you're going to do something. If you're going to go after your dream, if you want to write a book, if you want to start your own business, if you want to lose weight, you need, it's going to get tough. It's going to get hard, and you're going to have the resilience to go through. There's going to be some pain involved. And so I was thinking, you need to have a motivating factor. My motivating factor when things got hard for me was I kept picturing my girls. When my daughter died, I was in the room, and one of the first thoughts I had, it was really, I don't understand it, but one of the very first thoughts I had when I saw her die was that I wasn't going to walk her down the aisle one day. And I was just really sad as a dad, of course. But then, I started gaining all this weight. It was probably 3 or 4 years later that I'm looking around and I'm going, man, I was really sad about that. But here I am doing something destructive to my other 2 baby girls. I've got a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old at home, and I want to be around in 25 years. And so every time when I got on there, this wasn't about America, this wasn't about a show, it wasn't about money. When they're yelling at me, when I'm going, man, I can hardly move. I had an MRI on my knee. I have a slightly torn MCL, I have arthritis behind my knee, and I have a stress fracture of my tibial plateau. These workouts were not easy doing it on that, but I just kept picturing my girls. You need to have something that motivates you to drive through the pain. And part of it's the accountability, and part of it is just being resilient. That motivating factor for me, I want to tell you a story about Bethany Hamilton. Really fun story. They flew us to Hawaii. Incredible. It was on my bucket list just to go one day. So all of a sudden they're like, we're flying to Hawaii. I'm like, awesome. And they're paying for it. And So we get there and we got to do crazy things. We weighed in on the USS Missouri that week in Pearl Harbor. We got to shoot a scene where Lost was shot in Jurassic Park. And but anyway, we learned to surf one day. We go down and I see all these surfboards, and I'm going, oh, you gotta be kidding me. They do not do anything nice to us chubby people. Like, I'm trying to imagine, I'm still 280, we're in Hawaii, I'm 280 pounds, and I'm trying to picture my big body trying to get up on this board, and I'm like, you're just mean. And like, so Dovette's like, hey, you're, you know, you're not gonna be able to do this without some help, and we're not really good at surfing, so we brought someone in today, and so I look out at the ocean, and there's a girl surfing in with only one arm. So it's Bethany Hamilton, a professional surfer. She was 21. Her arm was bitten off by a shark. And you talk about resilience. She said, I still have it in my heart to be a professional surfer. They had to redesign a board, and she's still one of the world's best. She travels all over, resilient. Anyway, that day, it was kind of crazy because my knee was broken, and so the medic, Sandy, tells me, he goes, buddy, you're not cleared to surf. You know, all the jarring is going to really hurt your knee, and so what I want you to do is to paddle out on the board, wave to America, give them a nice spot, and just turn around and paddle back in. I said, okay, Sandy, no big deal. So I'm paddling out, and Bethany Hamilton comes up right next to me. She's like, buddy, here's the deal. There's an intermediate beach. It's not even like a standard starting beach. Probably 60% of the people that try to surf here their first time, they won't do it. But you, sir, you're going to surf today. I'm going, oh, geez, do I tell her that my knee hurts? She had her arm bitten off by a shark. I look like such a sissy. Are you kidding me? So anyway, I'm like super motivated, so I get up. I surfed like 3 or 4 times that day. But anyway, I kept falling off. I mean, I was out there like an hour, and I just kept falling off. And there's this guy, he's actually with me the whole time, not Bethany. She's kind of moving back and forth, but this guy, he's like total surfer guy. It's funny because I ride this one wave in and it's like this high, and I'm like, I ride it in and I fall off, and he comes up because I had surfed, and he's like, dude, that was sick, bruh. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm a total surfer, dude. But anyway, so he was teaching me there's this one thing I kept doing wrong. And it's that when you're trying to surf, there's this moment where you got to get up, where the motion has started, where you're following your dreams. And when the motion starts, here's the deal. If you look at the motion, if you look at the ocean, the waves, the problems, you fall off. And I kept doing that. If you look at where you are at a point in time, as you're standing up, it always, your equilibrium gets thrown off and you fall off. So what you have to do if you want to surf is as you're trying to get up, you need to stare at the beach. You need to have a fixed spot in the sand. Something that's not changing. And so if you want to follow your dreams, if you want to be resilient, you've got to have a motivating factor, because as the waves start to come and as the troubles start to come, if you look at them, you're going to quit. But if you look at your motivating factor, you're gonna be able to persist. Resilience for me, I don't claim to know the textbook definition, but I think I saw it in my daughter 6 years ago. I was in the hospital one day, and this just really stuck out to me. So kind of poignant for me. I was thinking, I went in one day, the pattern was I was still going to school at the time, finishing up my degree, and I was working, and I would drive to Children's in Detroit every night. Went in to see my daughter, and she was sitting there, and as I walked up to kind of give her a hug and a kiss and all that, she kind of cowered away. And just as a dad, it just kind of broke my heart. I'm like, man, it's like I'm here to help her, and it was just like heartbreaking. And but I thought about it for quite a bit, and I thought, you know, this is amazing. This girl's been alive for like 4 months now, and all she knows is pain. Every human being that comes her way is poking her, prodding her, taking her blood, and yet she still keeps fighting. This to me is what resilience is. It's like she, somehow deep in her heart, she knew that life was valuable. And I guess that's my main thing, is life is valuable. The reason I'm here, hold on. The reason I'm here is because I think your life is valuable. And I want you to be resilient. I want you, like her, she would fight. She all she knew was pain, and she kept coming back till her dying breath. And I want you to go for your dreams. Be resilient when it gets tough. I know resilience is something that really won't be decided in your life until the times get tough. You're not resilient when everything's going good and when everything just is handed to you. When they picked you for the show to be on Biggest Loser, that's not resilience. Resilience is when you do your first 6-hour workout and your knee's broken, and they said, Okay, now what are you gonna do? You gonna go home, or what did you come here to do? It's about following through, because there's something in you that says, I can't quit. You know, if it's your health, if it's your dream, if it's your finances, you know, maybe you're gonna be the first one in your family to graduate college. I have a financial goal. I want to be debt free completely. I want to pay off my mortgage. I'm going to keep going. I'm just going to do it. Resilience, though, it's something that you're going to have a cost to pay if you're going to do anything worthwhile. It's going to be financial. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be taxing, and it's going to involve you talking to other people. I realized that about my daughter, and I realized when I was quitting, and I was quitting on my other daughters, that I was not being resilient. And I just said, no more. So when I went on the show and when things got tough, I just said, I'm staying. I'm staying here until I've lost the weight. Because my thing, what I said is pick the one thing that you're looking at. My thing was to go on the show to get healthy. I've been very clear about that since day one when I went on there. I'm about my family, I'm about my health, and that's it. Before I went on the show, I said, if you can't let me go home for my baby, I'm not going on the show. And I said, if it ever becomes about anything not my health, I'm going home. And I always stuck to that. I always kept my eyes on the goal, and I was always about being healthy and, you know, doing what was best for me and my family. 3 things that just really will help you to live your dreams. Follow your heart, accountability, be part of a group, and resilience. You need to be accountable, you need to be resilient, and your dreams will take you far. People want to know, you know, kind of what I do now. So I came home, and honestly, the strangest thing was trying to get reintegrated into normal life. To have a family was so weird. You know, it's very much like how I'd imagine prison to be there, you know, where it's fenced in. We may or may not, as the guys, have taken an illegal hike, tunneled underneath the outside fence and gone 3 or 4 miles away to where they shot MASH and taken some photos there illegally. May or may not, don't quote me on that. But other than that, you were trapped there. You had to have a babysitter if you went to the store. I mean, every now and then they let us go to Target or Starbucks, and it was like, freedom. It was just like, but even then they had a chaperone, someone walking with you every step of the way. You know, you say, what's it like to be on TV? You were watching me before I was. There was no TVs there. So it's just, for me, it's just like every day was strange. I went to sleep in my room by myself listening to coyotes scream. We're on a park where they were just eating animals. And so when I came home, it was very unusual. I have a new son. I had to get used to him. My daughter, man, when I came home for Christmas, and it was Christmas, they said on the show they were sending us home to see if we could lose weight at home. They were sending us home for Christmas, okay? My birthday's in December, and that's when we shot the Valentine's special, so everything's like really messed up in your mind. We had to take down the Christmas decorations at home when I came home, and but when I came home for Christmas, my daughters, when I go to work out, they're like, Daddy, are you gonna stay home forever and ever this time? I'm like, oh, dagger, like that just kills me. So, you know, getting used to being back at my job. And then, you know, in addition to all your normal life things, I have like still craziness going on. I've probably given 40 speeches. You know, I've traveled in Houston. I did probably 10 things in 7 days. Spoke to Joel Osteen's staff at Lakeside Church. And so I've done churches, I've done public schools here in Ann Arbor and Milan and some businesses. And so I've got all that. And so I'm trying to acclimate to that and, you know, trying to really do more stuff. I spoke to the Rotary Club last week and now this, and really want to integrate, help Wayne and Westland. So so that's what we're going to be doing, something in the fall. And, you know, again, the best way if you want to tap into that is to probably, you know, the Wayne Dispatch or my Facebook. You can find me on Alan Shuh. So that being said, when we're all done, I'll be in the back, and you can. I wrote that book called The Story of Bella about my daughter. You know, it is kind of from a Christian perspective, so you're forewarned. But they're, I guess, $13 on Amazon, but you can have it for $10 tonight if you want to get one. Questions? Anything's fair game. Production, Dolphet, and Jeremy, Conda, anybody? Yep.
I too was gonna try out for The Biggest Loser, and the tryout in Mount Clemens was on my birthday, and I didn't get to go because I didn't have a ride that morning. But I decided I wasn't gonna let that stop me either. And since then, starting in October, I've lost 64 pounds.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say, you're not getting on. You know.
I'm at a standstill, so now I have the hardest trouble figuring out what to do for exercise without having to pay all the money for the boot camps and the this and the that. And is there, you know, you mentioned your Facebook and stuff like that. Do you have workout specific, you know, weekly workouts or anything like that, or even daily workouts out there that will help people know what to do?
Okay, so weight loss, 80% of it's your nutrition.
And then I think
People
I
put-
can tackle.
People put too much stock in the exercise portion of it. Here's how it's gonna boil down. Every 5 to 7 hours that you work out, if it's hardcore, is a pound. So if you're only gonna, let's say you only do 5 hours of like hard, like running a week, well, there's a pound. So drink one shake and you gained it back.
Right.
You understand? So nutrition's the big deal. So the most important thing that I know is your resting metabolic rate. We tested them weekly. You breathe into a machine for 5 minutes and that spits out a number, and that tells you how many calories your body burns if it was at rest, if it did nothing. And mine right now is about 2,500. What does that mean? That means if I eat 2,500 calories and do no exercise, I maintain.
Right.
So I would target, your target would be 500 calories less per day than what your resting metabolic rate is. That's a pound a week, that's healthy, that's doable. And the other thing is like you need to eat. It can't be starvation. Like I eat, we learned to eat 4 cups of vegetables with every dinner. Fill the salad bowl volume-wise, you're full. That's really what you want, right? And you eat a whole patch of broccoli, you're not gonna hit your calories, right? So it's about veggies.
Starch, so.
Yeah.
And that's, I think I've tackled the nutritional part of
Yep.
it. I really need to start doing the toning and stuff like that, but this, not maybe necessarily the hardcore exercise, because I do the cardio or whatever. I've been getting up and going to the rec at 5 o'clock every morning. But it's just like, I got at a standstill, and I did realize I can maintain it. I maintained it for 5 months now, and not that I want to encourage anyone else, but basically I'm very strict during the week and I do whatever I want on the weekends.
Yeah.
Within reason. I don't go overboard over portions or whatever, but
Yeah.
I like to have a beer and, you know, or.
Two things. Exercise-wise, I'm currently constructing something I'm going to help, and I'll put as much of it as I can on Facebook. That's going to be a once-a-week deal. It's going to be like a 90-day deal. Okay, so it's going to be like before the end of the year, try to trim off some weight. And my goal in it right now is in the exercise portion of this hour, maybe 30 or 40 minutes we'll exercise, is to teach exercises where you don't need a gym and you don't need anything. We do a lot of that on the ranch. So basically, we also had a cheat day on the ranch. It was weigh-in day. My cheat day was 2,500 to 3,000 calories, but I mean, you're cheating there. It's like, oh, I'm going to eat extra organic chicken.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah.
And like you said, it's very expensive, but once I replaced everything and started,
You're eating a little
doing
bit
all that,
less.
it's become a lot less of a
It's
load,
true.
but it is, I mean, it's crazy.
Exercise-wise, I would just say I'm a big fan of interval training. So it's like drive your heart rate up. So it's not about running for half an hour. It's about run fast, get your heart rate up to 150 for 2 minutes, faster than you could do for half an hour, and then let your body recover by walking uphill for 2 minutes, and then keep doing that, because you'll still be working, but it's a different thing. And so everything I do is like that. I do circuit training with weights quite a bit now. I'm still trying to rehab my knee. And so what I do is like, so I do bench press. Typically you'd wait 2 or 3 minutes, do your second set. In the 2 or 3 minutes, I do 2 other exercises. So I go through, and in 20 minutes, I've done an hour workout with weights, except for it's cardio because I don't take breaks. So, but I'll put as much of it as I can on Facebook. Yep.
What's your average day, like what do you eat normally at this point?
Content-wise or calorie-wise, everything?
You know,
Okay.
a couple eggs, piece of toast, I mean like what? You
Okay,
know, what's an average day?
Fiber One cereal with unsweetened almond milk every day for breakfast. The nutritionalist, one of the rules is 10 to 12 grams of fiber for breakfast, and so I'm real consistent with that. So there's 3 meals and 2 snacks in an ideal day. Let's be honest, if I'm out, let's talk in real terms. So breakfast is like, an ideal breakfast is a cup to a cup and a half of Fiber One, 1 cup of unsweetened almond milk. Gross by itself, but put it in cereal and it's good. It's only 35 calories a cup, okay? And then mid-morning snack, maybe a Baby Bell light, 50-calorie cheese and an apple. And then lunch is like a sandwich and vegetables. And then an afternoon snack, maybe the same thing, Baby Bell and apple. And then dinner's 4 to 6 ounces of protein and like 4 cups of vegetables. That would be like kind of a standard. Of course, everything's different now, but yeah. So, yep.
What was your cholesterol like when you first started, and what is it now?
No idea. Honestly, you would think that the show is very poor about getting us information. Several times we had to go and spend all day with a doctor, and honestly, you know where I found those statistics is on Wikipedia. I found out more about myself on Wiki than I did on the show as far as like my BMI and my weight. Everything is on there. They were not really helpful, honestly.
Do you still sleep with the sleep?
I don't.
Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful, 7 years.
Got rid of it.
It was really hard to not have it on at night. And then I was on 3 kinds of blood pressure medicine to get my blood pressure down to normal, and now I don't take any. Yeah.
I also want to see that.
What else? Health, TV questions? Yes.
Yeah, I don't recall the end of the program, but is the winner the only one who gets anything?
2 people officially win. The person that wins it all is Jeremy. He won $250,000. He, interestingly enough, this week I'm getting a band that he's purchasing for us. So he's a 22-year-old kid, and basically every week we joke around, and on the show I would always say, hey, my 2 cars at home got 200,000 miles. If they ever do a car giveaway and it's a minivan, you guys have to throw it so I can win. Because they're all like young kids and stuff, and so they're all like, okay, they joke and they say, okay. So anyway, when we left the show, Jeremy was very upset with what was going on, and he decided to stay. And we were just having a heart-to-heart, we're real good friends, and I said, Jeremy, we really want you to win the show. And he says, buddy, if I win the show, I'm buying you that van. So it's happening this week. Yeah.
Do they offer any of you cosmetic surgery?
No.
No.
The show is kind of not super liberal with their funds and stuff, and even Jeremy won the show, and he hasn't done anything for them. He got his check, and that's it. One and done. He hasn't done, I mean, I have done probably 40 speeches, he's done 0. Everything is like generated out of what you do. Your health, your workout, it's really, I knew this going in because I had 2 friends that were on the show. You have to keep your head screwed on straight, and you have to be about you. Even when I went to the casting call, it was 2 weeks ago maybe in Troy, this guy in the audience was like trying out, and he goes, buddy, I've studied all the stats on the trainers, and I've found which people make it to the finals that are under a certain trainer. And I go, you know what you should study? Is the people who are under a certain trainer, how they're doing 5 years after the show. Because isn't that what you want? You don't want to be in the finals, right? You want to be healthy in 5 years. Isn't that really? Because people go in trying out and you're thinking all kinds of screwy things. And it's really about like change your life. You know what I mean? So I've always kept that front and center. Obviously you can see I'm just like, that's what it was about. Yep.
How much did the winner lose?
Jeremy lost 199 pounds. I lost the second. I lost 173. The guy who won the $100,000. So basically, everyone who gets kicked off the show gets to come back for one last weigh-in, and all the people that got kicked off, whoever does the best wins $100,000. So he lost like 156, 160.
I remember that, yeah.
Mike, yep.
Are you still losing now?
No, I didn't. I wasn't trying. When I got home, I definitely intentionally started doing weights, and because I was noticing my arms were kind of flabby. Like everything you do there is cardio, and so everything's there is about burning fat and not building muscle. So I came back and I said, well, lean muscle actually helps your metabolism long term, but initially you gain a little weight. So on the show they would never let us do that. And so when I come home, these are the same clothes I wore. These are still the 36 size pants that I wore to finale. But, so my waist has stayed the same, my legs, but I've gained probably 10 pounds in like arm and chest. Yep.
You still have the clothes that you wore in?
No, I gave them away. I've got one pair of shorts that I saved just for, I should have brought them tonight, but I fit in one leg. That's how, I mean, me and my wife fight now because I'm always like at home cold. I've been so happy that it's like 99. I'm like, I've lost a decent sized male, right? 173 pounds, like, I've been insulated so long that, yeah, yep.
Buddy, after you lose all of this weight, you've got all this fat. How do you get rid of that?
You have it surgically removed if you so choose.
But if not, it stays there.
It's mostly skin,
Oh,
is what it is. It's not fat. You lose the fat, right? And so I don't think you can do skin removal surgery for a year by law. Like you kind of gotta but most of the people that lost as much as I did, that were on the show before me, do the skin removal surgery. 2 of them online. Facebook does private groups. And so everyone who's been on Facebook is like, you become like this part of this fraternity. And so we have our own thing that you can't see. It's a private group. And so 2 people just had the skin removal. You lose between 10 and 15 pounds just in skin. Yeah, and so I don't think I'll need it, honestly. Part of it has to do with how long you've been heavy. Part of it has to do with, if someone has it all in their gut and lose it, then typically they'll have skin there. I have a little bit in my arms, a little bit in my legs, a little bit in my belly, but kind of I've been doing weights and I want to see how my body kind of settles. And I don't think I'll need it.
How often do you do weights?
I do 6 days of working out a week, 4 at 3 at a gym, 1 at my brother's house. He's a strongman competitor, so we do strange tire flipping type exercises and that sort of thing. Guess which one he is. So I do 3 days at the gym, 1 day at his house, and then 2 days I do something at my own house. So I do 6 days a week. Yeah, I do believe in taking a day off still, even nutritionally. I think there's something good about your body muscle memory, just relaxing and confusing it, and even nutritionally, giving your body stuff that you don't normally give it. It just kind of shocks it, and your body says, "Okay, I'm not on a diet." I tricked you. So by the way, all the nutritionists and the trainers on the show advise that. But your cheat day is intentional. It's not, our cheat day was never like, it was like, this is how many you have, this is what, so we still were living intentionally.
Tell us about the Tears Foundation.
Sure. One of the organizations that I hooked up with afterwards was the Tears Foundation. When my daughter died, it was an incredibly sad time, and we were just in it, like I said, financially, we were falling apart at the time. My job, I wasn't getting money, it was paycheck to paycheck. Anyway, after her death, we went to the funeral home, and I sat there and just, man, you talk about rock bottom. I did not have the money to pay for my own girl's funeral, and I just felt like the biggest fail. I mean, that was the low point. And I'm just real thankful. My family, my friends, my church just said, here's some money. And they paid for the funeral, and they came to my aid. And so anyway, I had it in my heart I go, there's got to be other people like this. You don't really insure kids, and when they die, you don't have, there's got to be people like this. And so I was like, I had bought a URL, domain name to maybe start something, but it was part of my dream, but I didn't know what to do with it. Anyway, through the show, this organization already exists in Washington. They're in 8 or 9 states, and they're called the Tears Foundation, and all they do is raise funds, and they pay for caskets, grave markers, and grief counseling for parents who can't afford it, who lose a child under the age of 1. And so we got in contact, and I've become their national spokesperson. We're debating right now. I'm only, if Michigan will have a charter, I would do that. My only question for myself is if I have the time currently, there's just millions of things happening. So, but anyway, it's a crazy good thing that they do. And to go to people at that moment in their life and say, you just had this horrible moment, we got everything covered for you financially. What an incredible service to provide for people. So that's what they do. Yep.
And there's not a Michigan charter yet?
Correct.
You're saying? Okay.
So if it happened in Michigan right now, they would not support it. They've got so many, you have to have a charter in the state once there's a charter in the state, then then it's like somebody can apply online through them and get the funds and all that.
Well, how do you start a track?
Well, it just needs enough people. Basically, they have a big fundraiser every year. So they do, a lot of people are doing runs now. Theirs is called a rock and walk. And so you got to organize this big rock and walk. You got to have monthly board meetings. The rock and walk is, it's like a 5K walk that you do in honor of your deceased child. You buy t-shirts and butterflies and things of that nature. And they also have rocking chairs for grandparents that they, while everyone's walking, they rock in honor of their grandchild. So it's a bit of time to just organize is really what it is. And there just has to be enough people. Like if I was going to do it, I would just need, I mean, again, I would need the time to, I don't know, I've never done it. You know, initially setting out, it's like, how do you set up the race and all, you know, it just.
How do you get information? I do a lot of charity work in my group. We focus on all Michigan charities, and we're focused on children charities. Like, we're doing a big one in September for the Rainbow Connection of Michigan, which is basically like Make-A-Wish. But yours would be something we'd be very interested in doing. I would even get involved.
Let's exchange numbers. The Tears Foundation is online, so we can,
Okay.
but I'm talking to the founder and president, so just, you know, when I'm back there, give me your,
I will, yeah.
I'll give you my name and number, and we'll just,
Okay.
well, I think you know my name.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think now maybe we would like to sign.
Sure, anybody who wants.
Thank you very much